Time now for Conversation Nation. Joining me tonight, host of The Docket on Shift by MSNBC, Seema Iyer, Hiram College political science professor, Jason Johnson, and the Boston Globe's Shira Center. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Thanks, Rev.
Chris Christie is clawing his way back into the 2016 spotlight by going after Jeb Bush. In an exclusive interview with NBC's Matt Lauer, he questions Jeb Bush's 2016 momentum.
Jeb Bush, who has not declared yet, but is out there raising millions and millions of dollars. He's a moderate Republican. When you look at a potential run, is he your biggest rival?
Well, I don't know. You would have thought when he announced in December that he would be. But it seems to me that that train has slowed down pretty significantly from what I've seen out and around the country.
Jason, wow. I mean, that train has slowed down. Is this going to be a strategy, attack Jeb?
That's a big man. That's a lot of shade. I'm serious. Look, Chris Christie, I don't think that's a good strategy. I don't think attacking Jeb at this point makes him look any better. It makes Jeb look like a front runner, and at this point, you want Jeb to sort of be out of the picture. But I think, unfortunately, that's what he's going to do, because Chris Christie doesn't have that much to run on. So attacking the people punching up, I think that's the best way he believes right now.
Well, Seema, you've never been accused of being aggressive and attacking at all.
Not at all, but I have had cases when Chris Christie was a prosecutor, was the U.S. attorney, so I know how balls out he can be. And frankly, it's just spin, right? Because Jeb Bush is his biggest threat, and just his train slowing down is only because maybe other Republicans have thrown their hat in the ring in the last few weeks, so we're focused on that. But Jeb Bush is just laying low for a bit.
Shira, this is a family show, so I'd appreciate you not using Seema's language. But what do you think? Is this a sound strategy?
I don't necessarily think that was probably the best thing for Chris Christie to say. He was in New Hampshire for he'll be in New Hampshire for 3 days this week. And he had a pretty overall good presence. He earned some good headlines this week. But that one really stuck out to me as something that wasn't the smartest thing to say, because it does make him look like he's taking pot shots at another candidate in the race and the leading candidate in the race. It looks like he's grasping at straws.
Could he turn off voters, Shira?
It's possible he could turn off voters, but it's still, and I hate it when people like me say this, but I'm going to say it, but it's still pretty early for that. I don't know if anyone's going to go to the New Hampshire primary, the Iowa caucuses, and remember this specific comment in 10 months.
All right, let's go to this. Today, the Republican-controlled House voted to repeal the estate tax, giving a tax break to the children of the richest people in the country. This isn't a giveaway for the top 1%. It's for the top 0.2%. It came just a day after strikes across the country of workers calling for a livable minimum wage. And with a new poll showing 69% of Americans think the income gap is getting bigger. Shira, a tax break for the rich when everyone's talking about inequality? What were they thinking?
Well, they've voted like this before in the House of Representatives. It's not the first time they've attempted to repeal the estate tax. And, you know, they've won elections time after time. I think the difference is that income inequality is going to be a huge issue in 2016, in a way we have not seen before. And the American voters just seething with this right now, the differences between the 1% and everyone else.
Jason, is it a disconnect, or is it playing to the politics that brought them to the party?
Look, the Republicans are thinking about the children, all those Paris Hilton kids out there suffering from affluenza, and they need this money to be delivered to them intergenerationally. Look, this is because they don't care and because they're not going to be held accountable, and so they can do this sort of ridiculous law because, one, people aren't going to remember by the time elections come around, and two, you have too many Americans who still believe that one day they'll be part of the 1% and they want to give billions to their children. So unfortunately, Republicans won't face any consequences for such a ridiculous law or even an attempt at a law.
But Seema, what about the fast food workers that marched all over the country yesterday? What about their children? What about their families?
Rev, the Republicans don't care about those families and those children. Republicans care about their base. And Rev, you and my co-panelists would know better about this, but wasn't some guy named Adelson just put in like $100 million in the last election to defeat Obama? So that's the people the Republicans care about, the 0.2%, the 1%, not the fast food workers.
But is that... We heard a lot, Jason, about this autopsy they were going to do in the party to reach out and be kinder and gentler. And then their vote and their policies reflect the exact opposite of that.
Oh, yeah, they were supposed to reach out to black folk, and that hasn't helped. And
maybe rich black folk.
They're supposed to, reach out to the LGBT community, and that didn't really work in Indiana. So I don't think anyone's been paying attention to this autopsy, and they're going to be in some serious trouble next year. They might still be dead on arrival.
All right, straight ahead, what does Senator Pat Roberts have in common with girls across the country and their parents? And we're celebrating National High Five Day Politics Nation style.
Yeah, well.